After Heiko takes over, we'll also open the thing to questions from the audience if anybody has some. So Heiko, thanks for coming, and hopefully you've got something to say.
I was wondering, my first question belongs to the audience. Who has been to a contact party of you?
Wow!
So loud.
Rich, early on today, you were a part of a business panel back at the Amsterdam Dance event, and you were mentioning that some 20 odd years ago, when you were as a fan going to shows by Nizza Airport, Depeche Mode, or seeing Derek May, you were always trying to figure out what it was that they were doing there on stage, and trying to figure out that yourself, and that was very inspirational to you, and becoming an artist yourself. So was this also part of the reason why you wanted to do this movie, to show what went on behind Contakt as a party?
Yeah, I think there's so many people coming to all types of electronic shows that there isn't really an idea of what goes into them before or after. And not only to make the movie, but also to play with Magda and Troy, and then have Ali doing the visuals and making more of a show also was a bit inspired by those early Depeche Mode shows or Nizza shows, because seeing a DJ on stage is great, if you have a connection with them, but if you also see a DJ or a performer with some other performers, and you see that there's a language between them, and there's something dynamic, that's exciting, and that kind of draws you in deeper. And definitely one of the ideas of Contakt was to bring people in closer to us, and hopefully by showing the people now, what went on to that year, it will give them an idea of what we've done, and maybe, bring them closer to where we're going to go next.
Mm-hmm. And was it an idea from the very beginning, before you started out, that you want to make this into a movie?
No, definitely not, because actually the funny thing is, one of our first really good show was Sono, and this was all the footage you see here that was edited together in a very professional way by Ali.
We shot it with this camera.
Because we were like, shit, we got there and it was like, wow, this is exactly how it's supposed to be. We're like, who's filming this? And it was like, oh shit, we forgot to bring someone to film this. So I was like, okay, give me the camera. And that's why I was like walking around doing it. And that became part of it. And after that, we don't know if it's going to be a movie, but let's film this, because we realized how big an undertaking it was. And we at least wanted it documented, so 5 years we could see what we did.
Yeah, and as we progressed, the quality became better and better. Like then we started to use like regular standard resolution DV cameras. But the last 2 shows we did, we recorded with XT cam high definition, Tokyo show, and yeah.
Yeah, we're actually like, by the end of it, especially the Tokyo show, we have hours of beautiful footage on really high definition cameras, but because everything else is kind of all over the place, because we couldn't use so much of that because so much of the other footage was low resolution. And what we're actually doing now, we did another Contakt show in London a couple of weeks ago, and we shot that also on high definition, and we're trying to put some more of that footage together so that when the DVD comes out, there's another mini movie, I don't know how long yet, but which will actually give you an idea of what the show was if you didn't go to the show. But it's also, we don't want to, it's not our intention to try and show what a Contakt show was from the audience. It was one of the key ideas of Contakt was to do something that was, that the people out there were like, hey, what is this? This isn't just a regular hawtin show, or Rich and Magda together, or this is something different, let's go there. And so we don't want to, in a way, we want to say thank you to everybody and show you and give you something to remind you, but we don't want to, in a way, belittle the experience that someone would have had there. That was very personal.
It's not a pure concert movie.
Intentionally, actually, we didn't show too much from the shows. Also, one of the things that I realized when I was working on the movie is that, okay, I remember the moment, I have the footage, but I was like, okay, this is not really representing the feeling, you know. So that's why, as he said, we want to. This is more about informing people about the background. If you really want to experience it, it's not the movie. You should see the show.
It's more the making of.
Yeah.
In a way, we would like to do, you know, for sure we want to do more shows like this, whether it's Contact or whether it's different, developing other shows in a high quality with, whether it's lights and visuals or 3D sound, whatever. But I think you need to show the people what you've done so that they're ready for what you want to do next, and so that they're, you know, people are also asking for it. You know, we don't. I love playing a club show, but I also want people to have an anticipation and be waiting for something that's also beyond that.
And Ali, in the movie we can see that you mentioned that you have a background as an architect, and you've been doing all these visuals now for Minus, and now all of a sudden you're also a director. So was that a new challenge for you to do?
Actually, I also studied engineering. Yeah, I mean, I started as a filmmaker. Actually, Richie is the guy who made me make live visuals. He was like, okay, you want to try making some live visuals with me, and it worked really well. So this is how we came to this point, like 5 years of working together.
I mean, what you were doing at the Contact parties was the equivalent to a like more rock and roll kind of or jazz jam. So the natural step would then be to all go into a studio together and record a record.
Yeah, but I don't know, like, we're in a strange situation with the music industry. Making records and recording it and then just putting it out there is one thing, but I really, you know, it's something special to get on stage and know that you're with a bunch of friends and people that you trust that inspire you, but you still don't know exactly where it's going to go. You know, that would be the same in the studio, but then to capture it, it takes away part of the magic. So I think we captured as much as we can, and I like just to let it go, and you know, whoever's there in the room with us in the studio or in, you know, at the Sands last year or wherever we do it next, and have that experience.
And I think at the last Contact show that was a couple of weeks ago in London, the Cube was gone. What happened?
Yeah, well, the Cube was actually part of the Minus membership drive that we had last year, and part of the Contact event was to again drive people to come physically to the event. And if you had a Minus membership card, it would actually had an RFID chip inside. And if you went to the Cube, it would actually identify you and unlock a certain amount of possibilities, letting you see backstage footage, letting you download different things. But unfortunately, you know, we didn't think we were going to continue. And then when we did this year, that membership drive had gone. We weren't sending out any of these cards. So the Cube would have just sat there saying, hey, someone come up and talk to me, but nobody would have had the card. So maybe next year.
Okay. And I'm sure that a lot of you will go to the party later on. And I mean, almost all the artists agreed that Amsterdam last year was, I mean, if not the best, then definitely one of the best shows. So are you particularly looking forward for the party tonight?
Yeah, but for sure. I don't want to say that I always have an amazing time in Amsterdam. Now I'm totally fucked myself for tonight because there's going to be too much expectation. But the crowds here, since many years ago, have always been supportive of what I'm doing or what Minus has been doing, or even Plus 8 in the early years. So everybody who's here at the venue, Power Zone, is really looking forward to it. But we also purposely didn't want to do the same venue. We didn't want to do another Contact show because we wanted to leave that encapsulated in what we did last year. And tonight will be something different, but hopefully also something uniquely special.
Is the difference only that you won't be working with these kind of visuals, or I mean, will they be working together, or?
No, it's not so much working together tonight. It's more of a showcase where it's one after another, but we have some different artists. Ali has some different visuals. We also have another friend doing visuals, so it's a continuation of that theme.
But will Contact be going on, or will that be it for now?
Well, if you asked me after Tokyo, I was like, forget it. No way are we doing it anymore because we were so exhausted. And when we did the show in London, we had a lot of fun, and it was really, really inspiring, and it was another step